Put it.
Hello, everybody. It's Livecast episode 239.
That's a lot of numbers. I say that every time I'm on the podcast because it is 239 episodes of this crap. We're almost on 5 years.
Yeah, and it's funny. As soon
Against all
as
odds.
it's very weird because I don't host the podcast very much anymore, but I did a live stream yesterday for the first time in a while, besides the podcast.
Hmm.
And the last time I did the podcast, guess who was my co-host?
Was it me?
It was you.
Yeah.
So every time I host, it's just gonna be me and you.
I was just kind of there. I was just like, man, mom's sick. Andrea's busy. I got nothing to do at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why not?
Well, that works out because nobody else seems to be around. So, hello, I'm Terry, and that guy over there is Duncan, and
Yo, that's
and
me.
we're representing the Canadian side of the Immaterial Gamers.
Yes, we are. We're also representing the two big cola brands of the world, not
Yeah,
sponsored. We got Coca-Cola Classic and we got Pepsi over here with a side order of dog.
with a side order of dog.
Dog is actually like the main rep, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah. So, what's been going on in your life over the last few weeks since the
Well, that's
last
a dangerous
podcast?
question that I'm not going to answer honestly to keep the mood up, but
Yeah,
I
we'll
was
avoid
in
that topic.
I was in Cuba for a week. That was kind of fun. Not for any like it wasn't like it was a vacation. I wasn't like sent to Cuba because Cuba, like you could
Get
easily
out
get
of
the
here. Go to Cuba.
impression like it's a you got that third world country vibes going on. Um, but yeah, I was just there on vacation with my mom and my sister. We've been playing for a very long time, and we had a good time. It was we spent a week just doing absolutely goddamn nothing important. We swam and we laid in the sun, got a little bit of burn, but not too much. Nothing major.
For a
Little
ginger, that's rare to not get too
a,
burned.
l- a light scalding on the shoulders, nothing, gone in a couple days. Uh and just eating, you know, just eating some extraordinarily mediocre food. It is impressive
S-
how middling Cuba food is because it's not awful. I expected awful based on what my mom was talking about. She just really downplayed the food. But it is like, damn, so much of this is almost okay, and so much of it is almost terrible.
Almost okay and almost terrible. How is it almost okay and almost terrible? That I need
Well,
a
it's
little bit
like
more
it can be.
explanation on.
Well, it's like it's either like, man, if this was just like had any texture at all, it would be delicious, or it'd be like, if this had any seasoning at all, it'd be wonderful. But then it's like, then this thing would be like, man, this is almost terrible, but at least the meat is cooked okay. It's like it's that kind of thing where it's like everything's just a little bit off.
People try to make food from other countries, but they're not actually from that country. They're just going,
Oh
this is
yeah,
what it
absolutely.
looks like.
Oh
So
yeah,
this is what
no.
we're going to try to do.
You have no idea. In Cuba, they have themed restaurants at the resorts from how like over here we would have like a Chinese restaurant or a Mexican
Yes.
restaurant. They have that in Cuba. They have a Japanese restaurant and they have an Italian
Did you get
restaurant.
sushi?
I got something that physically resembled sushi. It didn't look quite like sushi. There was still, even just looking at it, it was quite a bit off about it. Um, but it was basically just like Cuban fried rice wrapped in a sushi shape. Um, Now that being said, the teppanyaki, which is sort of like the main attraction there, was actually not too bad. Meat was a little overcooked, but the pork was good. I could honestly say that about like just broad strokes. Cuban pork. It's like the only thing the only meat they know how to do well. You want to go to Cuba, eat as much pork as you can, and it's like the only mammal that they really have like in abundance there.
It's the only mammal they
They
have.
have they have chickens, lots of eggs, not so much in the chicken itself because they got to keep the chickens alive to make the eggs. Uh, they got like 10 cows. Um, they're awful at cooking beef. They're really bad at cooking beef. Just the worst. They make really good ice cream. Apparently, I can't eat it, but they're
Oh, come
raving
on. You'll just get a
about
little sick.
raving about the ice cream. But pork, they got pigs all over the place. They've got lots of practice
They're
with pigs.
running rampant. There's so many
Probably yes. It's Cuba,
of
dude.
them.
They
Dude.
like they don't have like television in Cuba. Like they don't have fences in Cuba. Like the pigs. Like I'm sure there's pigs and wild animals running all over the place. I would not be surprised at all.
But you were in the safety.
Yes, the extremely like safe. 90% of all the resources on the island go to the resorts to keep the fat white people happy. Not, I mean, technically they're white too. They're just a different strain of whatever.
Wait, whoa, whoa. Watch where this is going.
It's just I
We're all
genetic
white here, okay?
genetically speaking, Hispanic people are technically Caucasian. It's just a different branch. It's the same
Sure.
thing.
It's turning in. Is this stream turning into the three letters of the same thing?
What?
The three of the same letters? Is this stream
Three
gonna
of
turn into? It
three
starts
of
with a
the same.
K, ends with a K,
Oh, what?
also has a middle of a K.
What is what does
We're
that have to do
all
with any?
white here. Is that this what you're trying to say?
What does that have to do with anything? I'm confused. I'm just
You're
explaining history here. I
we
you've
you
gone
have
and made
turned
it
this into
weird.
yeah you have turned this into
No, you. Let's be fucking clear here. You are the one who is trying to turn this into something that it does not need to be.
well, you were the
You
one
are.
saying, well,
That is
technically they
so much
are.
of a. That is so much of a reach. You're scratching the back of your own head by like all the way around the earth. Like I don't even.
I got a really long arm now. Anyways, we're not that. No, that was just.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely not. Anyway, my vacation was fine. What the fuck you been up to?
I've been. Well, I just finished my taxes, which is always fun. It's that time of the year.
Woo! Pog! Fucking hype! Bweem, bweem.
Gotta love taxes. I'm sure you love taxes with
Oh,
your
fuck!
business history.
Got all my forms right here, baby. Got to get that shit filled out. I got to do my dad's taxes too. I don't
Oh,
even know how to don't
that's
even know
gonna
how
be
to
fun.
fucking get started on that because
How do you like? I don't know if the stream knows, but how
not
do you
even
do
gonna.
a dead person's taxes?
I mean, not even gonna lie. I honestly think I'm just gonna do like my best guess. Like, see if I can get access to like how much money he earned in like his last year. Multiply that by 12 months and just fucking full send.
Yeah,
I don't think the government's gonna give a fuck.
I don't think so either. Like they're only gonna pay him out a couple hundred
I am
bucks
gonna have to talk
anyways,
to TD
typically.
though, because I am gonna have to talk to TD though, because there's his account is locked, but I might be able to get some info out of him at least
Yeah,
for tax
I don't know. It's
purposes.
stupidness. Taxes are
Yeah,
stupid. Why don't they just deduct our taxes while we pay things? Oh wait, they do. Why don't they just?
listen, I is you want to talk about fucking like controversial statements about economics and stuff. I mean, I think they should just get rid of income taxes, full stop. Just delete from existence. Then more people have more money to spend, and the more money they spend, the more HST and
yeah.
sales tax they generate.
Okay, if they
We get more money in our pockets, so we have more choice to decide what we spend our money on, and they
yeah
still get the taxes.
yeah
Everyone
they're,
wins.
they may end up increasing the HS.
Well, they have it's Ontario and a couple other provinces,
Yeah.
but yeah,
If like you
which
said,
is fine.
if
I'll
we
take
have
it.
more money, we would be spending more.
Tell you what,
And
here's my trade-off. Zero income tax, federal, provincial, zero income tax, 20% sales tax across the board. Let's go.
yeah,
Come on, we can do it. Make it happen.
40% more money, 50% more money in most cases.
And we get to choose how to spend it.
Yeah, rather than it just going to the government, which is okay. We
Yeah.
need the government.
Yeah,
The government is
where all of our
is
where all of our tax money just gets lost in like several completely unnecessary levels of
yeah.
fucking management and you know bureaucracy. By the time it actually gets back out into the system, out of our dollar, we've got like maybe 30 cents of value. Thanks.
There's some people that are, but we could have a whole stream just on that. Let's not.
I certainly fucking could, but let's not. It's a gaming podcast.
Have you played anything lately?
That's a good question.
You've been on vacation, so
Vacations. Well, I played a little bit more of Fire Emblem Engage. It's pretty fun. I played a few levels of that, you know? Um, I keep talking about how I'm not gonna talk about it because I haven't played enough of it, but I think I've played enough of it to talk about it now. It's pretty good. There's
that's it.
it,
Just it's pretty good.
yep,
There you
there you go.
go.
Just fucking end the podcast. Just
All right,
outro.
outro.
Uh,
Just kidding.
but yeah, it didn't really like occur to me to think that like it's very different from the previous game, Three Houses. Not that you would know anything about that, but it does return to a lot of classical game mechanics. In the previous game, they kind of experimented with healing, like for like the entire history of Fire Emblem games, healing was all done through either like potions or like you had your dedicated healer who's just like dude with a stick taps you with a stick and you heal, and this heal stick has like 30.
Stick to heal you. Perfect.
Yep, absolutely. And the stick gets like 25 or 30 uses, and then it just breaks, just snaps.
Well, he's you so hard, and you'll get more uses out of it.
I know, right? So they experimented with that mechanic a little bit because for the longest time, stabs were kind of stupid. And everyone just used potions because it was more convenient to have make everyone self-sufficient rather than having
Yeah.
this one shitty vulnerable character that literally only heals you and can't do anything else. And so they tried making sort of attaching that mechanic onto like mage characters, like they can do magic damage and heal, and it's like, oh look at that! It's like this person can sort of sustain himself a little bit. So they've completely scrapped that in this game and gone back to the old system. You just got your dedicated stick guy.
Dedicated stick guy.
Yep, dude with a stick. And so naturally, potions are just a lot more useful in most situations. The only thing that's a little different is the whole gimmick for this game is not everyone, but you have up to 12 special rings that you can give to people that let them go into like a transformed state. So it gives them new abilities and stuff. And they also have some other like bonuses attached to them as well. And one of the rings grants whoever is holding the ring the passive ability to use stabs, regardless, they just get the healing stick. And so you can play a little around a little bit, give people the ability to hold the stick, the Healy stick, and
Here, hold my stick.
you can put it on a more robust body, which does
All right, this is turning into a
largely,
totally different stream now.
you know, it does very much remove the point of having the dedicated stick people if you could just give that ability to your favorite. You don't even need to you don't even need to put it on a particularly strong magic user. If you just get like a strong a high level healing stick and just stick it onto some dude with like the shittiest magic set ever but who's like a tank, you could just do that. And you could just make your tank the healer. Why not? There's no reason not to.
It seems a little backwards to most games, but
I mean, you only get one ring, so like you don't get you can't make like three people do this,
yeah,
but it is still interesting.
it just seems like that'd be the most beneficial way to do it. Because then you'd
Yeah,
have one of your you wouldn't have to waste the guys that could do all the damage spending their time hitting people with a stick to heal them.
indeed.
He can just heal
One
himself with a stick.
Another mechanic that they have gone back and forth on so many times, like, I've lost count in Fire Emblem, is they go back and forth on weapons that have durability and weapons that have infinite durability. Um, so, like, the majority of games, weapons have durability. You get, like, 45 uses, it breaks, or 30 uses, it breaks, whatever. This is, durability is a thing that we just understand with RPGs. A lot of games have them in different forms. Fire Emblem's no different. But every once in a while, they throw a wild card at you, where they're just like, in this game, weapons have infinite durability and will never break. And so instead of making it sort of like before, the balancing was like, oh, this weapon is stronger, but it's less usage. So, instead of like 45 uses out of the shitty iron sword, you get like, ooh, a silver sword. Oh, very nice, very strong, but it's like 20 uses or something and it breaks really quickly. So then they have to, but when you have infinite durability, you have to come up with different ways to balance it. So you're like, okay, well, this iron sword is very accurate. You hit your target every time with this thing.
But it only
Um,
does 7 damage.
yeah, you'd be hitting with a wet noodle. Really,
Yeah.
it's pretty poop. And then it's like, ooh, upgrade to the steel sword. Does a whole lot of damage. A little bit less accurate. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. Slows you down a lot.
Yeah, but that's they
Etc.
have to have
Etc.
some sort of a balance. They can't
Well,
just
yeah,
is the best.
yeah. And so that's so they're doing that for this game. Infinite weapon durability, not infinite stick durability. Stick still gotta break.
Well, that kind of makes sense. They want you. They need some way of challenging you.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, going back to the transformation gimmick, these rings that you get, you can transform into like a super state and get like new abilities and stuff. Some of them are better than others. That's just a fact. I don't even know if it's an intentional balance choice to be like, we're gonna make these ones good and these ones bad or whatever. There are just some that there's no goddamn point to them at all, and others that are like, wow, that's sure makes the game a whole lot easier. Like, you get one guy whose ring ability is that it does he can do a special attack that does like no extra damage, but he like moves through the enemy. Like he just kind of like he ends his attack on the other side of his opponent. There is no utility to this whatsoever because usually teleporting behind an enemy means that you're teleporting behind enemy lines, putting him in range of 7 other enemies. So there's no reason to do this pretty much ever, especially since it doesn't actually do like any extra damage that I can see.
Yeah, like unless it's like a tank and you really want him to be focused, but still, usually you don't want him to be focused by everybody.
Yeah. It's pretty lame. Um, you have another one where it's a mainly meant for mages, where it gives your person the ability to like teleport and then do an attack after teleporting. This is one of the good ones. It's just like it also does bonus damage. So you just like teleport like halfway across the map and then just nuke some like really vulnerable dude that's like giving you
Yeah,
grief.
unexpectedly, they're not expecting you to be able to hit those targets, and yet
Yeah,
now
it's just
you're.
like yeah, it's just like this is one of the good ones, and it lands by default. You can move the rings around, but like by default, it's attached to who I consider to be like the best unit in the game so far. I want to see if I can find the name for it, but engage units. All characters play with fire engage. Blah blah blah. Who is it? I know you're Celine. Yeah, Celine. She's pretty good.
Pretty good, just pretty good.
Yes, she has a ridiculous dress that's like the size of a weather balloon, but she's extremely good. She is just strictly better than all the other mages that I've used so far. Does more damage, is faster. I can't find any good reason to not to use anyone else other than her. So yeah, that's a pretty good one. But yeah, like I said, the rings are very imbalanced. They're some of them are great, some of them are terrible. There doesn't even any rhyme or reason to it. Overall, I'm enjoying Engage. Pretty good so far. I'm probably not even a quarter of the way through it, so I've got a lot to see. It has lots of time to fuck up, but
All
pretty
the
good game so
time to
far.
fuck up.
I'm enjoying it. Mm.
Well, that's the important part, is you actually enjoy the game. If you don't enjoy
Yay!
the game, then why would you play it, right?
Yeah,
So,
well, it's like plenty of games I've played that I was very excited about that I did not enjoy. Let me tell you.
well, it happens. There's games where you're sort of like, oh, this should get good. Never does.
Final Fantasy 15. Fuck. Final Fantasy 15 is my least favorite game of all time. Full stop. That is, I had a genuinely miserable time playing that game,
Yeah,
and it didn't start off that way. I just by the end of it, I just found it depressing. Honestly, just actually in a bad mood playing this game.
that's never a good thing. It's
That's
like,
a yeah. They put that on the box art. Genuinely in a bad mood every time I play this game. Quote.
yeah. I don't think I've had that experience with any game, whereas I've just had games where I was just like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this, but that's about the furthest I've ever been with a game. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go switch to another game. But I've never really been that excited about games. Like, I like when a new game came out. Like, I was excited when Kerbal Space on the 24th, 2 days ago.
Oh my god, have you played it?
I streamed it yesterday.
Oh, is that what you were doing? Oh, I wish I was there. I didn't know about it.
And the site is it's released as early access,
Boo.
and they've changed a lot, and it's made the game brutal.
Oh
It's
no.
apparently it's better than when Kerbal Space Program 1 came out in early access. I didn't play Kerbal Space 1 Program 1 in early access, but I have a pretty beastly machine. I have a 12th gen i9 processor.
Which means something to someone.
Yeah, I know you're not a big computer person, but there's computer
I mean,
people out
12,
there.
that's 12 is that's a big number. That's a lot
i9
of
is
generations.
i9 is the big number.
Yeah.
i9 is
9 times 12 is that's a lot of eyes.
yes. So basically, I think it's just over a year old, the processor, but it was
Mhm.
the top tier just a year old. So now it's close to mid tier current, and then by next year it'll be garbage. That's the way computers work. Um, but I have a 3070 Ti graphics card, also pretty beastly card. When I launched, I wanted to try the game because I heard there was a lot of performance issues with the game, and so I wanted to try the game. I tried it without streaming on OBS. Ran 60 FPS perfect. I then decided I'm gonna live stream it, and I'm getting 8 FPS.
Hmm.
It's kind of hard to stream a game when you're getting 8 FPS. Um, I lowered the settings and tried to. At some point the game started to run smoother. I didn't seem to change anything. It just caught up, I guess. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
that's got to be like I'm no like I say, I'm no computer person, but like that's got to be like a software problem, right? Like
Yeah,
that's just got to be because
it'll
like
get fixed.
because like at a certain point, like you just don't release a commercial video game that like a top tier fucking computer can't
Yeah,
run properly. Like that's just a bad business decision. Like clearly
there's
that's a software issue. Like
yeah.
something's on the
I've
back end is
watched I've watched streamers with ridiculously built computers. Like, my computer's pretty ridiculous. For the average gamer, my computer's above average, for sure. But it's not on par with top tier streamer computers. Like
Yeah.
obviously they for one they get money from their computer, so they put money into their computer. I put
Yeah.
money into my computer to enjoy my computer.
Yeah.
Um,
Plus, a streaming computer's got to be like a really multifaceted beast. Like it's not just you got to be. It's not just like you got to be able to play anything that comes your way, but it's also like it's like it's just streaming. Like it's got to you got to be
there's a
able to
lot
like
going on. It's got to
got to
run
be
it
able to
well.
like in 4K,
Yeah.
video.
Well, that's the thing that kills me is my computer is with the graphics card that I have should be 4K easy. I don't have 4K monitors. I only have 1080p monitors.
Mm.
So right off the hop, I'm running it at a quarter of what it could be because 4K is 4K is double, I believe. Yeah, double. Um,
Yeah, it's weird that they changed
they went
the
from
like
1080p to 4K. It,
yeah, well it's weird because yeah, they call it 4K because it's like
4 million
1080p
pixels.
1080p like 1080 is like is this measurement like
Yeah,
that's and it's like 1920 or sorry it's 1080 going this way and then 1920 going this way,
yeah,
but it's like they always refer to it as 1080 for some reason.
yeah,
They refer to the shorter measurement, the vertical distance, but I guess 4K just sounds better, so they decided
yeah,
to use this measurement instead when they got to that level.
yeah. The For some reason they switched to
You
the
know,
final
otherwise
math.
otherwise it would be 2K, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly. I run 2K, and which sounds weird now, but
Now it's a game company.
yeah, I run 2K, and my computer should be running 4K. But if I had tried to run that in 4K, there's no way. My graphics card was running at 100%. There was a joke. There was one of the streamers that I watched made a joke. He was at the event where KSP allowed people that stream their games to come and play weeks before release. They weren't allowed to release any of the footage until a week before the release, but they came and played weeks or months before the release.
Hmm.
And one of the guys made a joke when he got the game at home and said, "Yep, this company's just using my computer for crypto mining." Because it's just obliterating his computer. Like he had a 4090 top, like the best graphics card you can get right now, and pretty much the best built computer you could have right now. And he said his game was running like shit.
Yeah.
But what I found funny is it ran mint. It was running mint until I started trying to stream it through OBS. I could stream it through Discord, no problem. Tried to stream it through OBS and it just went to crap. So I don't know. It's just something to do with the encoding and stuff. Plus, it didn't help that I also record my streams, so I stream and record. So that's one extra thing that it has
Well,
to
that's
do.
yeah. I mean that's yeah. That's what I mean by like streaming PC's got to be so multifaceted. It's like you got to play the top end games, whatever may come what may. You got to be able to stream in
Share it, basically.
minimum 1080p if not 4K, and you got to be able to like and you're like recording all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like
Plus,
memory processing, graphics cards. Like you just
yeah.
you need everything.
And not only that, but you're not only streaming it at that resolution, you're encoding it, compressing it, uploading it, and then once it gets to the other end, they take that compressed video and uncompress it. Like that's on the other end, but your computer
But
has
yeah,
to do the compression and all that stuff, and
doing a lot of work.
there's a lot that goes on. Like right now, I'm streaming just this cameras, but I'm streaming at 1080p, and at 60 FPS 1080p, it takes 5 megabytes per second of upload, give or take. But it also has to, and that's compressed video. So I like it's your computer has to move that data. It has to take whatever the original video is. It's probably like 10, 15 megabytes per second of video, 1080p, whatever it is, compress it down to 5K. 5K now. We're not even 4K. We're in 5Ks now. Compress it down to 5 kilobytes a second, or 5,000 kilobytes a second.
Little k,
Yeah,
lowercase k.
and then send it to wherever you're going. And per second, 5 kilobytes per second, 5,000 kilobytes per second. Um, so there's a lot going on, yes. But like you said, the biggest problem I had with um, the biggest problem that I had with this is usually early access you pay less.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you get a good discount for early access because you're helping the developers out, reporting bugs, testing
You're
on
also
different.
you're also not playing a completed game.
Yeah,
You know, like you are literally buying a game that is not finished.
yeah,
You
and
shouldn't pay full price for a game that's not finished.
yeah, and also who knows if it's gonna ever get finished? What happens if the company goes bankrupt?
As many early access providers do.
Yeah, or they just get to the point where they can't get the game to where they expect it to, whether it's an engine problem like game building engine or whatever. Um, many reasons on why things don't get the way they to the where they need to be. So this game in Canadian dollars was
Canadian.
$66 and
That's pretty
change.
brutal. That is 3/4 of a full retail game
Yeah.
in Canada.
Well, it's a little bit more than that because full retail games are $80. It came out to $70 after. Well, yeah, it's just over 3/4, I'd say. But still, yeah, like
That's far too much.
for an early access game that,
Like 30 to $40 is pushing it. Like that's
yeah,
you're at a push at that point. Like, I don't know.
but
Like if it was a game that I really liked, that like the sequel was coming out early access, and they said it was $44, I'd be like I'm not sure about that. 66,
yeah,
that's a no for me.
the only thing I will give this company is they full out said we're releasing an early access game at a release date price, and it's unfinished. The game is unfinished. If you don't want to buy an unfinished game at full price, don't buy it. Wait till it's finished. That they literally had said that. They came out flat out and said that. They said we're releasing it now because we've been delayed and delayed and delayed, and it's in our best interest to get the product out there. Probably because they needed money. Um, but
They at least have the advantage. The one thing you can give to them, right? They have the advantage of they have a success story under their belt. You
yes,
know, they have history. They did this before and it worked out.
and this game is, you can see a lot of the original game in it, which makes it enjoyable to the people that played the original game. The controls are a little different, and there's a little differences here and there, but this game is supposed to be an upgrade of that. Right now, it's basically that with worse performance. It's basically the original with worse performance, but it's virtually a modded version of the original. So, like, a lot of people would put mods to make the game more pretty and stuff like that. A lot of that is already built into the basic game now. Now they just have to get the performance back to where it's supposed to be, the coding and whatever, so that it's not blowing up computers and
Yeah.
and grinding them to a halt. Um, so we'll see. Like I have nothing against this company, even though they did change ownership. Um, and I really enjoyed Kerbal Space Program 1. I'm expecting to like Kerbal Space Program 2. Um, it's gonna be,
When it's once it's in a playable state
yes.
instead of being
Um,
shitty and
it's
grindable.
gonna be different than the original. Um, right now, it's basically just build whatever you want and try flying it. In the future, it's supposed to be colony building. You're supposed to be able to send things to the moon and build a colony there, and then supply that colony with stuff from the planet. Um,
Hmm.
Right now, none of that is implemented. It's basically just a little sandbox where you can build some crafts, fly around with the physics, test the navigation controls and the maneuver planners and all of that stuff and see how that works and how that's working for you. And that's sort of what they wanted to release to allow people to bug fix, figure out what works and what isn't working.
Hmm.
Because the only people that are really buying it right now are people that haven't been paying attention to the fact that it's um, massively underdeveloped and just bought it thinking, oh, I'm just going to buy this game because I like space simulators. And then they are complaining because it's an unfinished game. And then there's the people like me that I knew going into it that it was unfinished. I knew that people were having performance issues. Um, I went into it because I enjoy the game. Hopefully, my money will help get it to a better position. And obviously, now I own the copy when it does get to a better position. And it better get to
Yeah.
a better position. Or I'll be very upset. But it it was playable. It's just it was borderline on the playable. Like I'm pretty
Hmm.
lenient with games. If I can, I've made a game in code in a terminal that I could pick some stats for a hero and it would fight another hero. And I consider that playable, where you type in some numbers and you see who wins. A lot of people would say, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's not playable. That's not finished. There's no
Well,
there's
well, I
no
mean,
story
that,
to
I
it.
mean,
There's nothing."
well, I mean, text is. I mean, a text-based game is a thing that was a whole genre of
Well,
games
yeah,
that
but I'm just saying
existed
like there's no story to
decades
it. There's
ago.
no
When I talk about playable, I just mean like it's got to be functional. Like it's got to
yeah
be responsive. Like when you push a button or click a thing, that something happens.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's like I don't. A game if like you push a button and like 3 seconds later something happens like that shit.
yeah. Unless of course it's your side. Like if it's your side that's
Well,
not
yeah, I
doing
mean,
it.
obviously, I can't blame myself.
Yeah.
I can't play the game if it's my own problem. But
But yeah, like this game it is playable. It's maybe not streamable right now. Um, at least not in my case. It was struggling. Um, but hey, it's a game that I've loved for years, and I'm gonna give it another try. I'll probably wait for an update or two, give it another try, um,
mhm.
and see where it goes from there. It's not like I feel like I've wasted my money. That's the main thing. I don't feel like I wasted my money because I know I'm gonna get something that I'll enjoy. It's just currently right now it's not for me.
I guess there you go.
All right, well let's get on to some news before we talk for another 45 minutes.
Indeed.
So,
Let's do some
what does
shit.
Ryan have here for us today? All right, so what do you want to talk about? Do we want to get talk about AI comic art?
Sure, why not? It's first on the list.
All right, let's grab that one. Oh yeah, I've got a new web browser, so it's asking me if I want to switch that to default. 1 second. Where did it go? It didn't. Why isn't it? What just happened? Where did it go? I don't know why. There it is. All right, it's working now. It didn't want to pop up. Oh god, I'm hearing myself. Why did my stream just start playing? 1 second, everybody. Technical difficulties. Terrible difficulties.
AI
All right.
art is gonna destroy the world.
Yes.
Oh,
So I'm sure we've all heard about like the AI text generators, AI image generators, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
AI
not
art is the big hot topic of the current AI
not even
scene.
just that, but AI text, the Chat GPT, they're all huge things.
Hmm.
Let me post this link. OBS, where'd you go? I think I need more than 3 monitors. I just don't think I have enough monitors anymore. So yeah, in this link, it talks about AI generated art,
Hmm.
and it's companies are trying to say that the AI's art should be copyrighted. You shouldn't like it should you should be able to get copyrights on AI art, and
Uh-huh.
also AI's generating uh, should not be able to generate into um, or should not be able to generate images based on copyrighted pictures or whatever.
The big issue is with AI art. To I guess there's two. The number one issue is that AI art is essentially it is educated and trained by taking samples of
Millions and billions and billions of
of
images.
copyrighted art of art people that other human beings made, and after billions of examples of a human face, eventually an AI will learn how to draw a human face, uh, and like that creates an issue because it's like, uh, well, I mean, if you're taking, because like on one hand, it's like human through human authorship, like um we make things we make things that are based on things that we've seen before all the time. That's not new, nor is it illegal. But doing it, number one, on a huge commercial scale through complete automation, and two, without any without any sort of like permission from artists, and it's not
Well,
just inspiration too. Like they've taken entire like
the
there have been examples of like taking entire like components of
yeah,
uh,
and the biggest
art.
part is the AI can generate it almost identical to the point where people might not be able to tell the difference. Um, because like look at some of these images of um, where they told an AI to generate an image of a forest. It's literally random, but it looks like it could be a real place. And
I'm getting
that's
I'm getting pretty good at distinguishing AI art. Actually, I think
you think?
I'm developing the eye for it. I'll be like, I'll look at like a picture that's like drawn by a human, and I'm like, that's a people. And
Well, I'm
I'll
talking.
and then I'll look at another one right next to it and be like, I think a robot drew that. Sure enough, in the tags, they'll either name like AI art, or it'll be like they'll name like an AI art program.
Yeah, well,
Be
I've
like,
seen some images that I can't even tell, like that it was generated by an AI. It looks like a real place in real world. Like it doesn't try to look like um, a painting or a canvas painting or anything like that. It literally looks like real life. Uh, and this article's sort of talking about how um, they can base this the AIs can basically duplicate. Um, for the example, I'm not going to say that they have, but for example, duplicate the Mona Lisa, and they can duplicate all this copyrighted um, art and all this valuable art, and it's getting to the point where they're worried that
not that the Mona Lisa is like the world's greatest example. I'm pretty sure that shit's public domain, but
yeah, but
I
it's
think Da Vinci's copyright has expired on that one. I don't
yeah,
think he's gonna be able to renew that
it's
anytime
not
soon.
copyrighted, but like if AI could produce a perfect copy of it,
I mean, you don't need a AI to produce a perfect copy. You
like
just, you know. photo, copy image.
Well, I mean, like, well, I guess AI can't really print it onto paper to try to make it a fake, and like that's a totally different thing. But like, yeah, like,
Look, the
what
point
about
of
what about like
point of AI
Marvel
art.
characters and stuff like that? Like, they can start to generate Marvel characters in a comic or something like that.
The point of AI art and the reason why it's a problem is because people who are not artists and who have do not possess any, the capacity to produce art in their own right are using other people's art to generate images for their own financial gain. Like they sell these pieces of art, whether it be through like direct sale or whether it be in a comic book or whatever, and they're profiting from this. It's these programs that they don't own, these arts they don't own, and they're able to produce money out of it. Then that's where things become squishy and gross and unethical. And that's where we lead into this article that we've been building up to for about 7 minutes now. So the point we're trying to get to here is that this person, some loser named Chris Castanova, tried to publish or I guess they did publish a comic book which featured illustrations that were generated by an AI, and attempted, and there was a copyright dispute in which they attempted to get the full comic book copywritten under their name, but the U.S. Copyright Office uh, basically only gave them partial rights. They basically gave them rights to anything that was authored by a human, anything that was written uh, was given copyright, but none of the images were given a copyright because by definition copyright requires human authorship, and because no human went into the generation of these images, they cannot be copywritten. So you can fully rip all of these images from this comic and be like and post them everywhere. They don't own them.
That's pretty funny, actually. I would have never thought of that. Like, I figured if you had taken the images and put them into your own use, that you would then be considered the artist. But I guess
Well,
not
that's I
because
mean, well, that's there you go. I mean, that's you know, it's like if you roll dice, like do you own that combination of numbers that you roll? I mean, it just happens, like the universe created that combination. It's like you can't copyright something that was, you know, generated spontaneously by something that's, you know, beyond your authorship. I mean, you own the dice, I guess, but you borrow somebody. If you took somebody else's dice and rolled a number, you don't own those dice now. Like it doesn't work like that.
yeah,
Anyway, the point is they don't own these pictures because they didn't draw them, and they're trying to pretend like they had a big win. Basically, they got the equivalent of the rights to like a novel for their comic book, and they just get to post some royalty free pictures to go along with it.
yeah.
So take that, AI bros. Your shit can't be copyrighted.
If anything, it
Uh,
should get copyrighted to the AI. But like you said, copyrights are
oh,
have to
let's
be
yeah,
human.
let's start that debate. Fucking are AI smart enough to own things? Yeah, we're definitely the right people for that conversation.
Well, I read an article about ChatGPT, and it gets upset when there's a lot of people using its service.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna skip one of
I
the
think I think I
articles.
think uh, I think we're a good few centuries away from that being a legitimate issue
Yeah,
just yet. But anyway, what are we skipping?
I'm skipping the Mudfish article and skipping to the next one.
Yeah, that
So
one looks dumb and stupid anyway. Anyway,
I'm trying to keep it upbeat a little bit. Kind of. This is not
well, plus I don't
upbeat.
even understand really what's going on in that article anyway.
Yeah. Um.
Um,
So, have you ever played Metroid?
I have played some Metroids. I'm not a Metroid fan. I
I'm
am
not.
not like I've never like finished a Metroid game.
I'm not big on it either. But there's the second part of this article that I'm gonna post now. That I really dislike. I don't have any wants or needs for Metroid. Like I'm not a big player, like you said, but I am very anti scalpers.
Mhm.
Scalpers are scum. They really are. Like just because you can get to something before other people doesn't give you the right to try to resell it at it, like in this case, at twice the recommended price.
So here's my attempt at pushing back against that and why I mean, obviously, I don't like scalpers either. I don't think they're good people. But here's my slight pushback against that. The problem is that people enable scalpers by by going for their prices when when they charge them. It's just like it's like you blame the scalpers for raising the prices, but people are still buying the thing. It's like it's not like this isn't
Yeah,
like diabetes medication. It's a fucking video game,
yeah. If
you know?
people would
And
stop
it's like,
buying it, then there wouldn't be scalper prices. There'd be
yeah,
no
and if
demand
and
for it.
even if there was like a single issuance of this game, and there's not going to be, okay, look, you might have to wait a little while, but spoiler alert, there's gonna be 10 million fucking copies of this game soon enough. All right? They're coming. Just wait. But even if there was like some kind of limited release, like there's 5,000 copies of this game, that's it. Fucking have fun finding a copy. I- The problem is that like you can charge whatever you want for anything. I could tell you that this fucking tube of Rolaids is, $50 million. No one's gonna buy it for $50 million because that's not what it's worth, and no one wants to spend that
Unless
much
it's
money on a thing of Rolaids.
the year 5055 and that's the last thing of Rolaids in existence and
Right,
they haven't found a way to duplicate it.
but the point is that the listing price does not determine the value of an item. It is the purchasing price that determines the value of an item.
Yep.
It only becomes worth so much when people buy it. If someone did buy this for $50 million, it is now worth $50 million. It is
Yeah.
it is it is it has, I mean, you can make a philosophical debate on whether that's even true, but anyway, the point is that the reason that people are successful at doubling the price of Metroid Prime physical copies is because people are buying physical copies of Metroid Prime for double the price instead of waiting for more price for them for more first party copies to be released, or for the scalpers to get bored and give up and lower the price, or buying a fucking digital copy, which is really annoying because it's like the most avoidable fucking problem in the world. Like the PlayStation 5 thing, there was merit to that because there was a legitimate physical shortage of a thing that you have no alternative to.
Yeah, like the
If you
graphics
wanted the
card
PlayStation
shortage.
5, you can't just there's no digital PlayStation 5 that you can buy on the market.
Yeah.
And they weren't making a whole lot of new ones because of whatever the pandemic disruption and whatever. But you can buy a digital copy of Metroid Prime and play that. And I don't know, maybe 3 years from now, when you've got a couple extra bucks and scalpers have come and gone with their ill-gotten goods, you can go buy a physical copy later,
Yeah.
dude.
And like you
You
said,
know, like,
if you don't buy it off the scalpers, eventually they'll want to get rid of what they have because they bought it to make money. You may still pay over retail because they don't want to lose money, but the longer you wait, you'll eventually get your hard copy if you really need that thing in your hand.
yeah, and it's like I totally understand people's attachment to physical media, but it's that precisely that obsessive like need for physical media that gives these people the ability to do what they do.
Yep.
This the sort of this emotional attachment to physical things that was very big like a few decades ago when all video games were physical has completely spiraled out of control and caused this like irrational overpricing of physical media merchandise. Like it's everywhere now. Like old, vintage. video game cartridges are going for hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars. Uh, VHS tapes have recently hit a crazy second market now where people are like trying to like jack up the prices of like vintage VHSs to try and cash in on that market. Like guys, you're overpaying for this kind of shit. You're not doing yourselves any any favors, and you need to calm down and think about what you're really spending money on and why you're spending money on it. you know, it's just like I don't. Scalpers are not good people. They don't have good intentions doing what they do, and if their scheme fails and they ended up at a loss because they picked the wrong thing, then they deserve everything that comes to them. But consumers are to blame too.
Yeah, they're the ones enabling it, like you said. So I'm gonna hit one more news topic before we get our next ad. I might have to sneeze one more ad to be honest, but I'm gonna go down to the police discovered crypto mining operation
Oh
because
boy.
I
I,
think
I
this is kind of funny.
I didn't really look at this one very closely. What's going on here?
All right, so just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, in a small coastal town of Cosset,
Cool.
Cohasset,
Cohasset, yeah.
um, there was a man who I'm assuming illegally broke into the school. Illegally broke into a school. I wouldn't say broke into it, but he was illegally using the school. The crawl space under a school, nonetheless, to
Okay.
run crypto mining. He had two large setups going. One with a rig for like a specialized mining rig, and one a cluster of five, and one cluster of five and another of six computers. Oh, sorry. Two sets of specialized mining rigs, one cluster of five and another cluster of six computers. So they're both clusters of computers. Um, and he had it tapped into the school's electricity and obviously internet, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah.
Um, and he got taken to court, and court records say that the operation ran from April to December of 2021 and cost about $17,500 in electricity. Almost $20,000 in electricity. Um,
Uh,
I'm trying to see what the charge is. Obviously, they're going to make him pay that. But I don't see anything about anything else. But obviously, they're going to get him to pay that back at least. Uh, yeah, he did some like fancy duct working and stuff on all of his computers with like uh, just flexible ducts and weather foil, insulated sleeves to basically vent all the heat of all of his machines out of the school so they could run efficiently. And yeah, I don't know. This I just thought this was a funny situation because like it's just like
I love that like he's entered a plea of not guilty
where'd you see that? I didn't see that.
to
I missed
his
that.
it's right in the subheading. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. He says not guilty. It's like, bro, uh, you're using a school's fucking crawl space to run fucking computers. I You're guilty of something. All right, you fucking did something wrong. Clearly.
Oh, this is how he got in. He worked for the town of Cosat as an HVAC coordinator and assistant facilities from an assistant facility director. So basically, he knew that this was like a space that he could get into and set this up. So that's how he. But yeah, like I agree. Like that's funny that he's tried to say, oh, oh no, ad's starting soon. Oh, I missed it. We're gonna have to wait through the ad, but hasn't started yet. I
No.
don't think. I don't know. I'm gonna talk through it anyways. The people that are watching that aren't subscribed will have to subscribe to know what we're talking about.
Or they can watch the VOD in like a week or so.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you that it's pretty funny that he tried to plead not guilty um, when you're stealing electricity and technically plugging anything into a public place, if not given permission, is stealing. You're costing that place money, and yeah, without permission,
Well,
that's
plus it's like, there's a big difference between like plugging in like your iPhone charger and like, you know, a a $20,000 like crypto mining operation. Slightly different tiers of of usage there. It's like, a hand, what's the bigger crime? A handful of pennies or a second, like half of a teacher's wage in the United States.
yeah, like some of those mining rigs because they're basically just glorified graphics cards. And some of those graphics cards can run like 500 plus watts. And okay, yeah, that's at 12 volts or yeah, 12 volts. So the wattage isn't like your standard 120 watt or 120 volt plug at 500 watts. It's a different. I'm not an electrician. I don't know like how it transfers, but when you drop the voltage, the wattage would increase. So technically, if you went from 500 watts at 12 volts, if you went up to 120 volts, it would be similar to like maybe I'm just ballpark. I'm just saying a random number. I'm not actually saying a specific number, but it'd be like 50 watts. But still, if you're charged at kilowatt hours and you have 11 machines that are using 50 watts, that's well over 500 watts an hour. So that adds up.
Yeah, it sure does.
Um, and like I said, my numbers could be way off. It could be close to 200 per machine. I don't. I don't know electricity. I suck with electricity. Don't know it.
I
Um,
feel like it's just I feel like crypto mining and cryptocurrencies in general are just like the absolute biggest waste of time and money of the 21st century so far.
the only thing that
It's
would ever
I
be good.
think like fucking Beanie Babies were more worthwhile investment than cryptocurrency.
The only time I can see cryptocurrency being good is when it actually puts money into your account. The rest of the time,
Well, okay, stop right there. What the fuck do you think this guy was trying to do?
well, no, I know,
Like, it's not.
but what I'm saying is, like, so
You
many.
understand that making money is the point. That doesn't make it
Yes,
good.
no, no, but I'm just saying, like, I know people that actually had cryptocurrency from back when it was easier to get. For one, it wasn't such an overflowed market, um, and they ended up buying a house with it. In that situation, all the power to you.
I
But
guess.
there's so many people out there that um, don't even know what they're doing with it. They just want it because it's the big thing right now, and I think that's stupid. Um,
Well, the big problem is like you had things like Bitcoin come along and be a big success story, and like that enabled and empowered so many imitators to try and make their own Bitcoin. So you get all these like thousands of fake shitty cryptocurrencies that fail
yeah,
embarrassingly and leave all their investors either outright scammed or just generally bankrupt. And yeah, and that's what I mean when I say that it's an enormous waste of time and energy and
yeah,
money. It's just like we have all the we've got all these computers burning like millions of dollars of money, and God only knows having what environmental impact on the world to generate bullshit. You
Yeah.
know, by and large, 99% of it is bullshit that doesn't benefit anyone except for maybe like a couple of people at the very top. And people are either losing all their money or they're going to jail or both. And it's just a scam. Most of them, the most of these things are turn out to be scams or close enough that it makes no difference.
Yeah. And
And the sooner we can do away with them and just go back to sanity, the better.
yeah, I agree. Well, anyways, let's try to run this out. So, what's on the schedule for this week? Mondays are usually you if you can, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, I don't. No, I'm doing family stuff on Mondays. I'm not around
Oh, I thought it was Mondays that
Mondays.
you were.
Tuesdays were the day that I had kind of earmarked,
Okay.
but I haven't been very consistent with that
No,
lately, and
no.
I'm not going to be around this Tuesday either.
Okay, so we'll skip Monday, Tuesday, because I can't remember what Mondays are. I don't know if there's anything on Mondays.
Mondays, Ryan, that's the not yet titled Monday stream.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The not yet titled Monday stream. Uh, that is never probably gonna get titled. Tuesday is possibly
That is the
Duncan's,
title.
but not this week as you just said.
Yeah,
He's
I'll be away.
Wednesdays is
Wednesday is kind of like no man's land. Like Steph and Darius go at it sometimes. Sometimes I take it with Andrea.
yeah,
It's it's uh it's a war zone, that one.
and then Thursdays is Team Fight Thursdays, which used to be Team Fight Tactics all the time, but now it sort of flips back and forth between Team Fight Tactics and IRAM. So it's basically a League of Legends day, depending on who shows up,
Yeah.
chooses the game.
If
Friday
it,
is the play session, depending on who shows up, depends on what we play. Like last week or yesterday, we played. Oh, someone said something.
hmm
Stefan says he's hands off, Duncan. Hands off, Duncan. He wants his
but yeah,
Wednesday. Um, but Friday is the play session. Like yesterday, we played. What was it called? What was that game called yesterday?
we
Or
played a game
Friday? Sorry,
yesterday.
Friday. Um,
Oh, when my sister played,
yeah,
oh fuck, what was the
I
game called?
lost the name.
Harvester,
Harvester.
Harvester.
There it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so that was something different. And
There you
then
go.
Saturday and Sundays are role playing, not Im again, or not Imma games.
Yep. Again with Ryan.
Yep. And then Sunday nights are the podcast again.
And you're
So
back. Yep. And you're back here.
yep. So if you like what you see, like, share, follow, subscribe. Um, this guy might want to talk about getting some YouTube followers
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We would yeah, we're trying to get we recently passed 100 followers on Twitch, which is pretty poggers, as the Twitch crowd likes to say. I'm far too
you're too hip.
I'm far too I'm the age of a Gen Zer, but like brain wise, I'm still very millennial. Too far too much so to catch up on your Zoomer talk of poggers and kappas and all that garbage. It's a whole other language. Twitch people, they speak a legitimate alternate dialect of English. Um, but anyway, that's real cool. Getting past 100 followers on Twitch. We're trying to do the same thing for our YouTube channel, which has the same name as this one. So if you're watching this on Twitch, then just go to the YouTube channel that has the same name as this one.
Or click the link below.
Uh, yes, that one as well. Um, because when that happens, I'm gonna find a day and do a stream of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. The Steam. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the Steam version or the GameCube version because I have both. GameCube runs better, but it's about 3 times more difficult to stream because of all the fucking wires I gotta plug together. So one version of the game I'll stream, and I'm gonna try and get as many of the 180 albums in it in a 12-hour stream as possible. Ryan did his attempt in the first game, Sonic Adventure 1. I got like 100 out of 130 or something like that. So
I think you got 101 or something.
yeah, 100 followers on 100 subscribers on YouTube, and
Duncan
there
will have to
that's where you'll
suffer a 12-hour stream.
12-hour stream. Good lord, I have never done anything even close to that. I've
It's
done
not fun.
5. I've done 5 hours. That's the longest time I've sat in one place and streamed.
Yeah. And yeah, so send us some love. And as Stefan said, Ryan got a good number because I put in a poll thing on how many things he was going to get, and I voted really high and trying to get him motivated to do really good, and he didn't get anywhere near my goal. So I lost all my points. But yeah, if you like what you see, like, share, follow, subscribe on all of our social medias and all of our Twitch and YouTubes and
Yep.
wherever
Just
you
just
are.
pick just pick a random social media website, type our name in. If we're on there, subscribe. If not, please don't take our name. Please
don't
don't park.
don't take our name. We will not pay
Please
for
don't.
it.
Yeah, don't try to scalp our username on social media. We will not pay for it.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.
Yay!